What is knowledge? What is an expert? Historically speaking, the idea of who had the right to produce knowledge was limited and exclusive, most often coming from Eurocentric, colonial, upper middle class, male, and heteronormative perspectives. Does a person with lived experience have expertise? Or does it only count if they are an academic who has researched a topic? When it comes to research relating to refugees and other displaced people, these limited perspectives can perpetuate uneven power relationships and privileges. Today, scholars have greater opportunities to enrich our knowledge production.
One valuable approach is to co-produce research. This approach can also improve how knowledge is shared and lead to research with more meaningful outcomes. In this video, we'll introduce you to the new guidelines of co-producing research with refugees and other people with lived experience of displacement, looking at the what, why, and how of co-produced knowledge.
These guidelines have been developed with and endorsed by key stakeholders in the field, including prominent refugee-led networks, NGOs, and academic institutions. So what is co-produced research? Generally, it's a way of creating knowledge inclusively with researchers and those impacted by research findings working in partnership as co-creators of knowledge.
Partnership involves a commitment among researchers with and without lived experience of the topic to share responsibility and decision-making power from the start to the end of the project. It actively prioritizes the involvement of people with lived experience of the topic, valuing their skills and capabilities, challenging traditional academic understandings of what makes an expert, and redressing power imbalances to create an inclusive approach to knowledge production.
Co-produced research with refugees and other displaced people bring important benefits for the way knowledge is produced, for its impact and potentially for skill sharing among the team. Researchers with lived experience bring a unique perspective, access to information and networks central to the project. With intersectional experiences, linguistic capabilities, and knowledge of local communities, researchers with lived experience can offer nuanced understanding of relevant ethical issues as well as deeper engagement with affected communities.
All of this can lead to better designed research approaches. It also increases the potential for real-world impact, with research findings shared directly with the community. It can also benefit all researchers involved, developing and enhancing diverse skills and knowledge through practical experience, peer-to-peer training within the group, and greater collaboration and prolonged engagement with diverse stakeholders.
Co-produced research with refugees and other displaced people is guided by a set of key principles that underpin the authentic collaboration and equitable power sharing between members of the research team. They include joint ownership and shared responsibility. Power relations should be openly discussed with methods in place to enable collective control of key decisions, with the balance of control shifted towards the most directly concerned and affected.
Inclusion and respect are central to actively seeking to bring together diverse perspectives and capabilities. This form of knowledge production disrupts conventional understandings of academic expertise and affords equal recognition and value to other forms of knowledge, such as experiential, relational, and localized knowledge. A key element of co-produced research is that everyone involved is respected as a knowledge producer and that all voices are listened to and taken seriously. Co-produced research aims to ensure that there are benefits for all involved. This could involve financial remuneration, access to new professional and research networks, and the development of new skills through co-learning. It also aims to provide tangible benefits to the individuals and communities who participate in the research.
Accessibility is key to creating inclusive research, meaning individuals and organizations must reflect upon and seek to overcome barriers that limit or discourage involvement. It's important to create culturally and physically safe research settings, time for meaningful engagement, sharing information in culturally appropriate ways, and considering which languages should be used for communication and publication. It is also important to review and address institutional structures and policies that could create barriers to inclusive co-production. As this form of research is often impacted by real-world events and changing community interests, ongoing ethics of care is crucial. Shifting levels for risk for the researchers involved creates a need for continuous support for researchers and other stakeholders throughout the research project. This includes working proactively to prevent harm, adopting a trauma-informed approach, and providing appropriate mental health support. Practical steps that can be taken including respecting confidentiality and anonymity when and where appropriate, and supporting researchers or stakeholders if they need to withdraw from the research. Refugees and other displaced people can face serious repercussions to their own safety due to their involvement in research. This can range from stigmatization and threats of violence to forced departure and physical harm. Devise appropriate strategies to safeguard against harmful effects from inception through to and after dissemination.
Research grounded in co-production requires open dialogue and transparency in order for trusting relationships to form between all members of the research team. Invest time in one another, speak honestly about roles and challenges, and demonstrate cultural sensitivity to each other's experiences and needs. Trust also needs to be developed with the other institutions and stakeholders involved in the research. Reflexivity is an important principle of co-produced research. It requires researchers to both individually and collectively reflect upon the assumptions and motivations they bring. They must consciously consider how their intersecting identities and positions shape and influence their research choices and findings.
Reflective practices can bring greater accountability to researchers and can even help to recognize and dismantle power asymmetries and privileges that exist in the field of research relating to refugees and other displaced people. These guidelines aim to support those interested in co-producing research with refugees and other displaced people. Understanding that ethical questions and issues may arise in practice, the guidelines also offer advice on how to navigate common issues, and they provide training exercises to practice the implementation of the key principles.
To learn more, take the time to explore the guidelines in full.